Hey guys, I'm in the kitchen. Just wanted to prepare a meal. So I got some frozen chicken breast. I have some carrots, some celery, some squash, and some garlic. It's a really simple way to throw a recipe together for any kind of meal. You don't want to just cut it up, just in chunks and pieces that are available, that's easy to eat. So as you're cutting, the squash and everything, you want to go ahead and cut off the top of it, cut off the back end of it. You want to slice it down the center and make, basically some nice circles going down the squash. And as you do that, you'll realize what's too big, what's too thin for you to eat. So you want to make sure that it's easy for you to eat when you are enjoying it. I like to put the oven on the broil because I can have it really nice and temperatured. But you want to have the first rack about 2 prongs down underneath the broil rather than right above it. So it gives you more time to not burn and kind of like saute it, but yet kind of broil it all at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and do the squash in kind of these little half circles. And then put it all together. And it creates a really nice melody. Squash, zucchini, carrots, garlic. People don't realize how easy it is to create a meal in no time flat. Just be really careful with carrots. They actually say that carrots are the number one mistakes in the kitchen because of how dense they are and easy to slip. I like to obviously cut the ends off and go down the center with 2 hands and break it apart and then lay these flat. So when these are flat on the ground or on the cutting board, it doesn't move around much. When something is a circle and it's very dense, it's very slippery like a wheel. And you want to take that away from your risks and everything, especially with kids. So I just want to go ahead and just do a light chop with the carrots. I'll let you know how it turns out. So I'm basically going to be able to do the celery the kind of the same way. Real nice. I love celery. It's got a really nice flavor, but at the same time, too much celery can be pungent, and especially with celery seeds, you have to be careful. Some of the most pungent is in the leafy parts and everything, but the most healthiest as well at the same time for you, that green, fresh vibrance of the chlorophyll and breaking down your system, especially with immune systems. A good time this year to help building your immune system. So I just go ahead and just break it off the bunch and then just do a nice little rough chop. And some pieces which can break down, just really bite-sized and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the celery and everything like that. Be right back with you guys. So basically, when you're throwing together, things that are in the fridge and the freezer, putting together as a simple meal, we got to take chances, I like to just kind of go through and be like, hey, what's available? Zucchini, squashes, carrots, cabbages are really great. Potatoes are really great. Just putting it all together, people just don't realize that just a little bit of time goes a long way. A lot of our efforts that we don't have doing, 1,000 million things. So we go, oh, gotta eat. Eating's really important to be able to help the brain have nutrition each day. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm going to show you a little simple meal to help everyone out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the zucchini kind of like the squash. I'm going to go ahead and take off the 2 ends, going to make circles, and then I'm going to make it on bite-sized pieces so really it's easy to eat. Okay. All right, also I like to put in the mix is some collard greens when you have it. Collard greens is not something that always people use and everything, but I like to use it because the juice that comes from collard greens is very simple. It's not complex. It doesn't have too much of a pungent flavor. Most people think it does, but really it's really tender. It's like a spinach. It's very nutritious, again, for high iron levels, especially dealing with the cold weather and immune system. So it's something I love to do. You kind of do just like a rough little chop and everything and put it in the dish. You kind of stir fry it around. And especially with the bacon or a broil, you can kind of throw it in with the vegetables with the juices. It really is an incredible flavor. So I'm going to move on to garlic. So when it comes to garlic, there's so many different, variants. There's dried, there's minced in oil, minced in water, ground up, you know, all different aspects. You got the clove, the full garlic clove. When I have the garlic clove, I love to use it. It is a little time consuming. Obviously, you want to break apart the pod. And then the trick of it, a lot of people use in the kitchen and old school remedies and everything like that. You take the back of the knife with the butt of the garlic clove. You want to press down on it. It gives it a nice little crack. And then you can just take off the little end of it that's rough and kind of just push out the clove. It comes right out. So it's a really nice way to do it, and a nice little chop, especially with the nice big pieces. You can kind of dice it up how you like it, and sometimes you can sliver it. It's really good with salads and all kinds of stir fries, sautés, and flavoring. The really biggest principle about garlic is what's in it, the properties that really help you. People forget to eat nutritionally, so garlic is a good additive to the diet no matter what. The sulfur of the garlic is really what helps you out the most. We don't eat a lot of sulfur in fast food and things like that, but the sulfur has a good healing property as well. Check it out. So as you can see, the finished product of the chopped up goods, you have everything kind of in the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and season this now. So you have the chicken breast. Usually it's best if it's thawed out, but you still can get away with using a frozen chicken breast. Just you want to flip it, and then when it gets to be more tender, you can cut it down as time goes. But for seasoning a mixture like this, you can do all different variations, of course, to your taste buds. But people get freaked out about what kind of seasonings go good. Personally, with chickens, Creoles are really great. You can get all different kinds of Creoles depending upon your taste of spice and heat. I always like to have a black pepper. Black pepper goes good with everything. It also helps break the blood-brain barrier as you're eating nutrition. It's an interesting factor where black pepper has such a powerful healing rejuvenation aspects. I love to use rosemary. Rosemary is very potent. It's a very potpourri kind of aspect, kind of a pine kind of a smell. The flavor is really nice and robust. I always like to have some ginger. Ginger is really great for help digestion, circulation, brain, and cognitive. People don't realize how ginger is very healing, anti-inflammatory. Always love to, when I get the chance, get a teriyaki, but you always have to be careful about using certain products, because certain products can cause like seizures. So like MSG and certain, man-made aspects that we don't always like, processed foods, I'm trying to say. It's not always the easiest to find, but finding a nice teriyaki glaze or something like that can go really wonderful and add a lot of accent, and don't have to do too much. It's really just a nice little, drips of a glaze and everything. Even though I use onion, chopped up onion, I'm going to go ahead and use some powdered onion, because usually they say that onion takes on the flavor of a dish. Powdered onion is the only one that actually can give your dish the flavor, because it's been really more pungent and it's a powderized. So because of that, I like granulated. Granulated has a really nice texture for the onion flavor as well. You can use onion granulated for also making onion dip. It's really excellent. Even though I use fresh garlic and chopped garlic, again, I like to go ahead and add more of the granulated garlic as well right on top, kind of just making a little glaze and everything to go good together. And then another staple that I always love to have when I have it is oregano. Oregano is a very potent healing aspect that oregano has in it in its properties. So really, when you're home cooking, you forget how powerful a little bit goes a long way for your health, great taste. You can feed a family, you can feed yourself, and it really doesn't take too much. People just really get scared of the kitchen, how to use an oven. So while we were talking and everything, and I'm creating this dish, I put on the broiler. I had it running. Having it at a certain temperature, I'm not sure exactly on the broiler, but having it running and heating up is the hottest element in the oven when you have it on broil. So usually about 500 degrees it will go up to. So that's why you don't want to have the rack right underneath the broiler, because it can definitely cook things really quickly, too quick. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully this dish will be something you pass on, or break the fears of being in the kitchen a little bit more. And this is Connecting Survivors, sending our love again for a Happy New Year. Happy New Year's to you. This is a nice little New Year's rejuvenation kind of, bring you back to life kind of dish. And wishing you a marvelous, marvelous New Year as we go. All right, take care, everyone. See you soon.